Sure, it's February, but that hasn't stopped other people being fashionably late to this party. In fact, to make up for that, because so many fantastic games came out in the past 10 years, and because it is 2020, I've decided to make this a top 20 list, split into 2 parts. First, some rules. Only games released between January 1st, 2010 and 31st December 2019 are eligible. Annoyingly, there were a couple of games I wanted to include, but realised they came out in 2009. Might sound obvious, but only games I've gotten round to playing in that time can appear. Sorry Horizon Zero Dawn, I got to you too late. No ports, compilations, remasters, or remakes, so Crash Insane and Spyro Reignited don't qualify, but I will allow reimaginings that are significantly different from their original release. Yeah, that totally gives one of my winners away, doesn't it? 1 game per franchise, that made things incredibly difficult at times, let me tell you. This is entirely subjective, and the games aren't ranked or ordered, at least not consciously. Alright then, let's see the first 10 games to make the cut. Look, shall we just get the Sonic entry out of the way first, because we all know it's coming. Yeah, let's do that. Sonic had an interesting 10 years with some of the franchise's greatest heights and lowest depths. There were 2 games battling it out for this spot, but there could only be one winner, and that winner is... Drum roll? Yeah, no, a drum roll. Can I get a drum roll, please? Yeah. No, not happening? Fine, forget it. Sonic Mania! You're probably tired of hearing this by now, but damn! This is the Sonic game the Sega Saturn never got. I was so incredibly happy with this title. It was the first time I pre-ordered a digital-only release. I booked a day off work, I sat and watched the countdown on my PS4 dashboard, and I jumped in at midnight. I did not finish playing that game until I saw the end credits, then I went to bed, got maybe 3 hours sleep, and spent another 18 hours or so grabbing all of the emeralds, completing it as the other characters, and just having one of the greatest gaming experiences of my life. No joke, this release was treated like a national frickin' holiday in my house. Then, of course, we got a beautiful physical release and even more content in the form of Sonic Mania Plus, and you'd better believe I double-dipped on that. As is a running theme, the DLC was a little underwhelming, but having an actual disc I could put on my shelf just made it feel complete. It's also one of those rare games I can just put on at any time and have a blast with. I'll often browse through my dashboard not knowing what I'm in the mood to play, and end up firing up Sonic Mania yet again. Sonic 2's still my all-time favourite, but damn, this came close. Here's a title that's staying on both my Xbox 360 and PS3 hard drives until they inevitably fail someday. Licensed games are rarely good, but Scott Pilgrim's one of the greatest games in the side-scrolling beat-em-up genre. The art style's beautiful, doing a fantastic job of emulating the comic's artwork in pixel form. It's a carefully crafted old-school look with crunchy animations. It feels great to play. Anyone can pick it up and have a go, but you're going to need to put in a little more time and dedication leveling up your characters if you hope to see the ending. It's a damn shame this game's been delisted everywhere because licensing, but the torch is still being carried by titles like River City Girls, which I will get around to at some point, and we're even seeing new entries to the franchises that inspired this, like the upcoming Streets of Rage 4. I still can't believe that's a thing that is actually happening. Grand Theft Auto V's the best GTA I've played since Vice City. Despite only being 30, I'm married with 2 kids, I'm somewhat disillusioned and cynical, I found myself relating to Michael. Dude's even got my widow's peak. That's probably bad news for my mental health, but that's screwed anyway. The story was insane, with some of the greatest missions in the series' history. Switching between 3 characters meant you chose whether you were the getaway driver or shooting out the window. At points in the older games where you'd have to sit back while an AI partner did their bit, you'd just jump to that character and continue playing as them. It felt like it was cranked up to 11 24/7. Then there's the online mode, which has been so much fun with friends. The heights are a highlight, but my favourite addition has to be the crazy races on impossible tracks in the sky. Do I really need to tell you any more about this? It's GTA 5. It's the highest grossing media title of all time. You have this game. Looking at the numbers, probably 2 or 3 times. I know I've got it on PS3, PS4, and PC at this point. I didn't mind Final Fantasy XIII. I actually quite enjoyed Final Fantasy XIII too. And I think 15 had its problems, but if you took Final Fantasy out of the name, it would have been much better received on its own merits. Not that it matters, because all of these were eclipsed by a game I honestly didn't see coming. A fun little title I bought as a distraction, a spin-off that somehow managed to be the best entry in the series this generation, World of Final Fantasy. Tetsuya Nomura on art duties? Check. Turn-based battle system? Present and accounted for. A satisfying gameplay loop of constantly getting stronger, learning new abilities, and taking on more challenging foes? Right this way. You won't be pushing hardware limits or seeing striking new innovations in the JRPG genre with this one. It's a very understated game, but therein lies its appeal. Without the pressure of trying to be front and center, flying the flag as a showcase of Square Enix's technology, World of Final Fantasy was able to concentrate on being the best game it could be. No mandatory gimmicks, no editorial interference, just a love letter from the developers to the fans, and I enjoyed every minute of it. You know when a sequel takes everything you loved about the first game and amps it up while also smoothing over the rough edges of that first outing? Yeah, that's Dead Rising 2 in a nutshell. I think this might be a rare example of the perfect sequel. This is a weird case where Dead Rising 1's my rose-tinted favourite entry in the series, but I have to concede that Dead Rising 2's an objectively better game. The pacing, the difficulty, the map layout, the distribution of items and weapons, the bloody survivor pathfinding, it's all been improved. Dead Rising 2 perfectly strikes a balance between comedy and challenge. It can kick your ass if you're not prepared, but you don't have to spend ages in a planning session creating a route map before loading your save file. It's not afraid to be silly and make fun of itself, but never at the cost of the core plot and gameplay. All of the systems, mechanics, and even jokes have a harmoniously symbiotic relationship. They all feed into and work with one another. Nothing steals the spotlight and every element benefits. This is an incredibly finely tuned game and an absolute joy to play. Just, don't bother with any of the entries after this one. My 3D platformer itch got scratched very nicely over the past decade. A Hat in Time, Yooka-Laylee, Super Mario Odyssey, but there's a game out there I enjoyed more than any of them. Poi. No, I'm not joking, this isn't a troll. I genuinely think this flew entirely under the radar and deserves way more love and respect. It feels very much like someone played Super Mario Sunshine and then said, I'm gonna make me one of those. I don't make that comparison lightly either. The controls in this game are so well considered that you always jump exactly as far and as fast as you think you're going to. There's a great variety of worlds and missions. The game's utterly charming throughout. This is the only entry on this list where I jumped straight into New Game Plus as soon as the credits finish rolling. This indie gem's on everything too. Steam, PS4, Switch, and it's only $7.99. Seriously, this is some of the most fun you can have in a 3D platformer right now. Whenever new hardware comes out, there's an inevitable period of cross-gen releases. Your King Kongs, your Hitman Blood Moneys, and it can be a while before you get your Halo 3, a strong exclusive that makes you sit up and say, now this is next gen. When the PS4 came around, my Halo 3 arrived in the form of infamous Second Son. This game was absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't believe how much detail and depth was in even the gravel and tarmac beneath my feet. Oh, and the game ran like silked butter. This was a fantastic, vibrant playground where you could really mess around with Delsin's powers and just have a blast. Sure, there were some minor complaints. You only get the fourth and final power during the end boss fight, a battle which arrived very abruptly as if the developers had bigger plans but just ran out of time. Having 4 power sets meant none of them really got explored as fully as they could, although the follow-up First Light did expand on the Neon power, which was the best one. But this was still a title that blew me away, set very high expectations for an entire generation of console hardware, and kept me playing until that Platinum trophy popped. I adore some Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's my favourite blend of crazy 3-on-3 action featuring some of the greatest characters of all time. While Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and its Ultimate Revision were decent enough, Infinite really dropped the ball. But it's okay. Right around that same time we got my favourite brawler of the generation, Dragon Ball FighterZ. I'm already a massive Dragon Ball fanboy, so slap Vegeta, Piccolo and Frieza into Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and I am sold. Auto combos make the game accessible to scrubs and mean my kids can play a few rounds against me, but without sacrificing the depth you see in the tournament level play I'll never be good enough to reach. Graphically, this game sometimes looks better than the actual anime. There are pre-rendered 3D scenes in recent Dragon Ball movies that look worse than this game running in real time. The one downside is how the lobby's also the main menu, and that makes it kind of long-winded to set up a friendly match with a mate. That and the sheer number of Goku variants. But seriously, I love this game, and I'm actually going to take a break from making this video to play it right now. I got introduced to the Yakuza series by the fantastic videos the Gaming Brit and Hyperbit Hero put out. As a Shenmue fan, I liked what I saw enough to go out and buy 1 through 4. Trouble is, the first Yakuza was really showing its age, and because the games follow Kiryu's story, I didn't want to skip ahead to 2, 3 or 4. Then in comes Yakuza Zero, a prequel, a jumping on point, and a modern game with all of the conveniences I'd come to expect. Also, from what I've played of the series so far, easily the best entry. I loved the world, I loved the characters, I loved the battle system, and oh man, that story. Yakuza Zero oozed style and confidence while looking and playing like a dream. It also had that dash of humour in the face of an otherwise very serious game that reminded me of the good Dead Rising titles. I'm autistic, I generally don't do empathy, but my heart ached for these characters, especially Majima. This is an absolute must-play, and you're seriously missing out if you haven't tried it. Me and my wife are massive Kingdom Hearts fans. No, seriously, our wedding was Kingdom Hearts themed. It's never been a better time to be in that fandom either. 2.5 HD on the PS4 finally brought us Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix at 1080p 60, but it's a remaster and isn't eligible for this list. Kingdom Hearts 3 finally came out, and, it was fine, I liked it. I've been really enjoying going back to finish up the post-game content now Remind is out, but at the time another game on this very list kept that disc out of my PS4 and grabbed all of my attention instead. Okay, so which Kingdom Hearts game did make the cut? Simple. Dream Drop Distance. I bought a 3DS solely for this one game. Like Birth by Sleep before it, this was a plot-heavy, full-fat Kingdom Hearts game on par with either of the numbered PS2 entries, and I could play it on the go. It even featured a fully playable and consistently available Riku as you constantly switched between playing as him and Sora. Compared to Kingdom Hearts 3, I prefer Dream Drop's plot, worlds, gameplay mechanics. It just nailed everything. Somewhat breaking 2 of my own rules here, Dream Drop even saw a full-on HD remaster in the form of Kingdom Hearts 2.8, instantly becoming the main selling point of that triple pack. Twice over, Dream Drop got to be an absolute highlight of my 2010s. So that'll do it for the first 10. Come back next week for the remaining 10 entries, and I'll see you there.